Hi, it's Kiwi. I've been watching YouTube content surrounding video games for a long time now. Some of my earliest memories were people like the Irate Gamer, some call me Johnny, the AVGN, Cat Icarus, and other content creators who didn't necessarily make video game review videos. Like Youngtown, he made video game content surrounding music. And it was great. It was a really awesome way to see people express themselves. But the one thing that happened in recent time that I've seen is a lot of people are moving away from the video game reviews. That's something that I want to try putting my hand in the ring. To be fair, this is one of my first times actually reviewing a video game. I'm not really used to talking to a camera like this. Most of the time I just build keyboards and sometimes drop them. Well, without further ado, welcome to the first episode of Backlog.
Find yourselves on the path to becoming international secret agents. In other words, Psychonauts!
Man, I love how this opening cutscene kind of sets the tone of the entire video game. This whole art style really reminds you of those early Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon shows that you used to watch back in the day.
My name
Starts with a D.
is Rasputin, but everybody calls me Raz. Please don't kill us, Lake Monster!
Raz, our main character, is essentially a party crasher and joins his camp from a flyer that was given to him. He wants to become the elite psychic agent called a Psychonaut.
I know, isn't it great?
But he's not permitted to be at the camp. He has his parents called to pick him up in about 2 days. He's told that he's allowed to participate in all the available camp activities. This includes talking to the campers, exploring the campsite, and even go through some training.
You're late, soldier. Now get in here and give me 20.
Man, Coach is putting these kids through some rigorous training. They're blowing kids up. They're putting them through mining fields. They're okay. I guess we're doing this. I don't know. I feel like this is going a little too far to train these kids to be Men in Black agents for physics or something like that. I don't know.
Follow me. I'll help you through the mines. Okay.
Dude, I love this kid. I mean, a lot of the humor are focused on these kids, you know, who have terrifying psychic powers, right? But the funny thing is they are just kids, and the comedic timing on this is absolutely amazing. I saw all the dialogues and all the jokes and all the moments that they put into the game.
All right, so and we're also introduced to a couple of collectibles, right? Figments of imagination, which are plenty abundant in this game. Sidecars, which will help you level up in this game. Memory vaults, which will give you some sort of like insight to people's minds and how they actually work. And emotional baggage. I have no idea what this is supposed to give you really, other than a percentage, if I'm being completely honest. Alright, so after talking to Agent Sasha, after doing the tutorial level, it opens up the rest of the map. You know, this opens up the mess hall where you can go and buy more collectibles and a bit more other tools. And I guess this also opens up to talking to the campers that we actually saw in the training.
A double Psychonaut!
That's dark.
This also opens up the lakeside, which you can... Oh, that's not menacing at all. It's later explained that someone actually cursed him and his family to not be in contact with water at all. Whenever you do come in contact with water, the water tries to grab at you until it finally does, and you finally get teleported to the nearest landmass. Alright, so is this the place where Agent Sasha is supposed to be meeting us? Oh no, I went to the mess hall guy. Apparently this guy is called Special Agent Crowler, right? And he's one of the original Psychonauts. You can actually come here to turn in your collectibles for even more progression, level up, and he'll actually give you special powers for you to use for the rest of your adventure. Anyways, we go down to Sasha's lab and finally get to see what the special training is, which is called the Brain Tumbler. Wait, this place is so cool. It has this whole abstract, like, infinite look to it. Like, that's amazing. Wait, are these all the levels that you can actually go to later in the game? Okay, let's actually go into Sasha's mind. Oh shit. Well, I guess this is what an organized mind looks like. Mine probably looks like a sandbox with my keyboard in there and nothing else. All right, so this is where we're introduced to the common badniks essentially for the entire game, called sensors. They're the things that kind of keep you in line and keep you sane and all that good stuff. But they're also the things that keep you from being creative, from thinking, you know, outside the box. All right, so after going through the level and beating Gorlock Destroyer in Sasha's mind, we go back to Miraz's mind to continue unfolding what's really going on. But this is where we're introduced to Dr. Lobato, the one who's been taking brains from the kids and leaving them a weird desire just to watch TV. It kind of reminds me of doom scrolling at 4 a.m. when I gotta work the next day. All right, and now it's time for the groovy Milia, who's going to be showing us how to use new abilities apparently that Raz is supposed to know by this time. But if I'm being honest, I really didn't like this level. I mean, you get this new ball technique, which I will say though, as much as this level is not a great introduction to this ability, this is probably one of the best abilities in the game. It makes it so fun to traverse the entire levels, both here and later. And it's like, my god, is it fun. But this level, nah, it's okay. And it's finally nighttime. We talked with Lily about saving the rest of the campers as they all sort of lose their mind and all of them sort of have this craving just to watch TV, right? And as you know, as they're talking and they're trying to make a game plan, they run into, is that the missing link from Monster vs. Alien? Anyways, a Sushi here takes Lily into the link, right? But Raz has to go and take the bathysphere to save Lily. Going underwater, we get an auto scroller. It's not bad, it's just a little annoying. And this fight that I actually had to get in with, you know, Finding Nemo over here actually got me stumped for a little bit, because it wasn't until I got closer to one of the clams on the floor where I just, oh, that's how you have to beat it, you know. Using the psychic door, I was able to go into the fish's mind where I get to be, is this a Godzilla reference? Wait, you're telling me that we get to be a gigantic kaiju and just destroy the whole town? Oh, that is fucking awesome. Oh, I can even scale buildings, stomp on the financial district, grind on the rails, on the bridges like I'm Sonic Adventure 2. Oh my, this is the best level in the entire game, I swear. Actually, it isn't, but I'll get back into that. Talking to some of the fishes at town, these sound pretty familiar.
We can put them in position to help you cross Kochamara Channel to get to Kochamara Island and destroy Kochamara Tower.
I'm just waiting for this guy to scream out Molly or beat my ass like he's Spike Spiegel. Anyways, we get to the end after liberating and destroying half the town, right? We have to fight this character named Kochamara. Apparently he was a savior of the town, and is that an Ultraman reference? Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm kind of spoiled on this entire level. The boss battle is not really that exciting because it's clearly Coach in a disguise pulling out some shitty kung fu move. But oh well.
I've got the brain of a little girl back in my lab that's strong enough to power a whole army of Psycho Blaster death tanks. What?
You've got the brain of a little girl.
I said in my lab.
I think you've got the muscles of a little girl too.
First, the fish monster named Linda actually helps us get to the next hub of the level, which is the Insane Asylum. First character out right outside the gate mumbling to himself is the security guard, and he keeps going on and on about this milkman character. But anyways, we use the psychic door to go into his psyche and to start the level.
Now we get to my favorite level in the entire game, the milkman.
Alright, so first starting off, you get to see how this mine's actually all set up, and it doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of curves, a lot of edges, nothing really makes sense, which I guess is right for a conspiracy theory. But everywhere you see, there's just two types of people. There's these little tiny Girl Scouts running around the level, and these shady agent figures, right, who are masquerading themselves as different employees. You see them all around like ordinary people, posing like a road worker, plumbers, gardeners, electricians, assassins, trying to get into a book depository. Is that a fucking JFK? Moving on. But anyways, it turns out that the sniper from the book depository was a rainbow squirt, and she left a exploding box of cookies for us. What the hell is going on with this chapter? I mean, at the end of it, you get to fight the head of the rainbow squirts called the Den Mother, who is actually guarding the sleeping milkman. After defeating her, the milkman wakens and has Molotov milk bottles to throw at everyone, even the censors.
Time for the final delivery to this address.
Hey, is that milk regular kind? Or the exploding dream kind?
It's fortified with what the world wants. What the world deserves.
Are you sure you don't want to just talk about this, Boyd?
Alright, so after dealing with that, we now get access to the courtyard. And there's a new type of collectibles that you can get in Overworld, which is just the kids' brains. Apparently they're all over in these glass jars, and you have to break them open to actually collect them. Okay, that's disgusting. But we get to meet a new resident of the island, who was in theater.
You make a girl so happy.
Apparently we need to grab her trophy, and the only way to do that is control her mood swings or something like that. I don't even know. Anyway, let's get into the level. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this is the worst level. There's a couple of different levels coming up, and apparently they're worse, but in my honest opinion, this is definitely the worst one out of the entire game.
Look alive, people! Bonita Soleil is about to take the stage!
You have to start off by trying to get the main actress out of her room after some heavy criticism by some dude who's like apparently a Yelper or something like that. Anyways, the whole gimmick of this entire level is that you can swap between the morning and the night times of the stages, right? The thing is, you just have to radio it in, and it automatically changes. You don't have to hit a button or anything like that. And it becomes into this third grade musical into this stage, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty lame. The enemies too, they're not that great either. At the end of it, the crazy twist was that there is a phantom who was sabotaging it, and it turns out that it was just the guy who was on the balcony. Apparently he can move around like that. I don't know. At the end of it, we finally get this trophy from the crazy lady after we defeat the phantom, and now we get to finally move on. Alright, so we get to the next patient, right? Which seems like this guy has some sort of split personality disorder with a French guy. I mean, no wonder he went insane. But apparently he's a distant relative from Napoleon Bonaparte. Not Dynamite. And he lost so much in this war board game that he actually came back and tried to smack some sense into his offspring. Anyway, getting to an actual level, but the level idea is very, very unique, and I think it's a great idea. You have to help Fred beat Napoleon, his ancestor, right? Due to him just losing motivation from losing so much. The level itself is actually broken down to 3 different levels. The 2 players, the map itself, and then going into it is the pieces. You can move and interact with every single level because obviously everything's intertwined. But yeah, that's great. You have to go back and forth with talking to the townspeople to get the pieces, move the pieces onto the board, and overall it's super straight. It's just kind of weird that there's no real boss battle in this, but at the end of the day, it's a super solid level. At the end of it, you actually help Fred get rid of the ancestors, and he loses that split personality, giving him his own voice back and his own body back. This also gives us the straitjacket that he was wearing as well. Alright, now we get to the top of the building to this artist named Edgar, who just has artist block. Apparently this guy actually has like more of a mental construct blocking him from his finishing art.
Every time it is the same. The matador, the bull. How I despise you both. But my hands won't let you go.
Start by going inside of his mind with the psychic door, and holy shit, look at the art style of this level. It has like the theme of the Day of the Dead paint style, but it also kind of reminds you of Tron with how much contrast and lighting this has. It looks amazing. Like, I had so much fun playing this level. As we go along the level, there's essentially these alleyways that the bull runs back and forth from, knocking Raz's ass onto the pathway or onto the side streets, right, if he's in the way. The point is to grab these queen playing cards and bring it back to Edgar so that he can reach the girl in the sky. We meet a ton of artists that kind of give background about Edgar and of how he's a great artist, but something tragic happened to him. When you get to the painting, you get to fight these luchadors and you kick the shit out of them, and each one has a certain power to them. But at the end of it, all these kids seem like they come back to Edgar's high school days as a wrestler. Event happened when Edgar was in high school and he lost the girl that he was in love with to the jock, which is actually represented by the luchador. Once you get to the boss battle, right, Edgar realizes that he was the bull and that the luchador and the girl really doesn't matter, and he gets over it. He finally realizes that it was a long time ago and he's not worth his time anymore, that he's a great artist. Nothing's worth holding on to like that. After this, we finally get to grab the painting of Dr. Lobato, and I guess this is the final piece that we need. We finally have to use all the pieces that we got as a disguise to trick the person blocking the elevator. The trophy for the arm, the straitjacket for the Lobato's coat, and then the actual painting to look like Dr. Lobato. And wait, is this the dickhead that triggered Fred, the Napoleon guy? Yeah, it's shown in the background that this guy actually was the one who triggered Napoleon coming back into Fred's mind because he won that game so much. Anyways, we finally have to scale this tower, and there's some person in the background who's lurking around and just yelping. We get to collect more of the kids' brains, and what the hell is that thing? No, seriously, what is that? Again, weird character designs. Apparently, this girl is actually held captive by Dr. Lobato because she took his turtle. We used the turtle actually to take over the machine and show.
That's right, baby. Daddy's here. Everything's gonna be all right.
Oh.
And I guess now we get to go rescue the rest of the Psychonauts because apparently these agents also got their brains taken out. Alright, now we have to face off with Coach Oleander and... Well, that's rude.
Let the grown-ups handle this.
You tall people!
I guess the rest of the inhabitants are just accidentally setting up the place to be blown to smithereens. We rendezvous with the rest of the Psychonauts and they seem like they defeated the coach, but that's not the proper coach, is he?
Where's his brain?
Oh, okay, I guess this is the final boss.
Hey, how's the weather down there?
Super sneezing powder. Ugh. Try not to sneeze. Have to hold it in.
Okay, I need to... Oh, I see. I need to fling myself using my psychic powers into the other brain and fight with our psychic powers. All right, yeah, cool, makes sense. I guess we gotta finish the fight this way.
Oh, hi. My name's Marcel Oleander, but you can call me Maury or Oli.
Okay, to be fair, this level was one of the levels that I kept hearing about people hating. and it wasn't that bad. The Phantom of the Opera one was way worse than this level. A mixture between a butcher and an actual circus festival. I think that's pretty cool. But I don't know why people said this was a bad level.
Like, I get it. We have to do this escort mission essentially and save Kid Coach and grab his bunny from all these different enemies. You have to make sure that his life bar isn't too low while holding the bunny for him to grab, but is that really it? Again, talking about the aesthetic of the level, it has this whole butcher / carnival theme to it. So anyways, the main boss that we see is Coach's father, which is said butcher. And he's yelling and he's trying to go around killing everyone with his big ass butcher knife. And while we hear someone yelling Raz's name in the background, after facing him and defeating Coach's father, we have to face against Raz's father. Man, he's nasty looking, almost as if he's made out of rotten meat or like a zombie. All right, and the next part of the stage, I guess, is gonna be this auto scroller. Again, not that annoying. More than anything, the level. I think the actual physics of the game, as I said before, is kind of fighting against you. Anyways, at the end of the level, Coach's father comes back with even bigger flame, while Raz's dad also shoots these flaming pins that I guess lock onto me. It's a standard phase 2 fight, but it's nothing really that difficult. At the end of it, someone actually breaks through into Raz's mind, which is, oh, that's Raz's actual father. Raz's father actually tells him that he doesn't hate psychics, he just hates the psychic that cursed his family of water. And he sees the way that Raz sees himself, and he's pretty disappointed. But there's a bigger threat at hand, is to unfuse the minds, right? Apparently, no, it's not gonna unfuse it. They're just gonna fuse even more. And Raz's father and Coach's father become this disgusting-looking abomination, and we have to fight them as another kaiju character. Oh, hell yeah. I don't know why people are telling me this is one of the worst levels. We can kick their ass. Yeah, you have to wait for it to charge. But again, I don't know why people are telling me this level was that bad. It really wasn't. And now that everything's done, they can finally unfuse the minds and everyone goes their happy ways. Alright, both brains are unfused and they finally get to the ending. Coach apologizes actually for his action, as he was not in the right state of mind. He was actually influenced by a greater threat, I guess. After apologizing to the rest of the campers and to his team, Raz is actually given the status of a Psychonaut. They try to all go back to their respective home, but it's actually bad news that Lily's father, the head of Psychonauts, was kidnapped. All of them have to take the jet to save Lily's father, and it's the start of Raz's actual first official mission. The end, or obviously until the sequel.
Honestly, I love this game. I love the story. I love every single level, except for one. The cool thing about this game is that it kind of feels like you're playing in a Saturday morning cartoon, but you're kind of going through different mental problems and mental issues, or some things, mental problem being simple as an artist block, or literal schizophrenia, right? People, worried about super big conspiracies and such, mental blocks put into your own self. Like those are some heavy topics to talk about, especially in a game that seems as innocent as this. The humor as well really blew my mind. I didn't think that, 10, 20 years later, the game still holds up to this day. I was literally laughing and smiling throughout the game, and just knowing that good writing, still holds up to this day. And I think that goes for any media in general. I think Raz was a great main character. He has such a childlike wonder of trying to be this professional, super secret agent, and obviously he's not meant to be there, but he still proves himself to everybody, and I think that's great. He's not naive little kid, sort of. He has this idea of just becoming the best psychic agent out there, but he can hold himself. He knows that he has powers. He knows that he wants to learn, and he takes every opportunity to learn, and I love that.
All right, now to the actual gameplay. Yeah, it's okay. Not to be serious or anything like that, but the game is a solid platformer. The controls are tight with a little bit of floatiness, meaning that like you're not gonna stop on a dime, but you're also don't have that much weight to your character. The different levels have interesting puzzles and range from getting your new power up and using it throughout the level to actually using a combination of different powers that you got throughout the game. Okay, let me just give you an example. Really early on, I got the telekinesis power, right? Throw things one way to another until the end where I had to throw myself, my own brain into the actual final level. Or for example, I had to use the clairvoyance power that I got from the Milkman stage, and I was constantly using it around the other different characters. I thought it was hilarious.
The one spoiler mechanic that people told me to do in the beginning was to buy the dowsing machine. I didn't know what that really meant, but holy crap, that one thing, I never had to worry about money ever again. Now, to be fair, I didn't 100% the game for one reason only, the figments.
Okay, the figments were really hard to actually collect. Not because they're so hidden or they're so weirdly placed. No, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. And the problem is they're not 3D or anything like that, or you just have to look for them and find them, and they might be part of the background. And this makes it super unique, but also at the same time, I didn't even realize I was collecting them. Going up against the wall and I jumped because I went the wrong direction, and all of a sudden, bam, I just got one. That's ultimately the reason why I never fully completed the game. I collected most, if not all, of the actual emotional baggages, the emotional cobwebs I got. I didn't collect everything, but it felt like it wasn't really necessary. I don't know if there's a secret ending to this game or anything like that when you 100% complete it, but I was really satisfied with the way that the game ended. And I really didn't have a reason to go back because nothing really told me to grab everything.
All right, well, that's my review of the game. Generally, I think this game still holds up to this day. Honestly, it's a solid like 8, 9 out of 10 game. Yeah, some of the things are honestly super outdated. Like all the cutscenes that you see, they're actually rendered in 480p instead of like 720p, and that's that's just a showcase of its time, right? I'm not gonna hold that against it. In a day and age where everyone wants to be hyper realistic and everything has to be super smooth and rendered real time, I get why they did everything pre-rendered. I didn't even realize how long the game actually was. I think when I got to the fish level, I think I asked myself like, oh, am I already in the end game? I didn't realize that because I was having such a blast. But when I saw the fish and I knew a little bit about the story, I was like, oh, I guess we're almost done. Honestly, if you want to play a game that's super solid in its own mechanics, the storytelling, the characters and everything like that, yeah, it might be a little outdated, but honestly, if you can get over that, it's almost one of the best platformers out there. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to playing Psychonauts 2, but before that, I do want to play a couple games that have been on my list for a while. Right now, I have 2 games that I kind of want to start playing. Right? The first one is actually Half-Life because everyone talks about that. And the second one is actually revisiting a game that I've played and I never got to play it again. But recently there's been a lot of movement around it in regards to the emulator scene. And I think it's fully done. I gotta check again, but the second game is actually Bloodborne. Let me know if you guys have any other suggestions as well. I have a huge list of games to play, both recommended from my own backlog, recommended to me by friends, and things that I want to know what you guys are interested in. I've been on YouTube for so long as a viewer, experiencing, seeing and listening to so many reviewers talk about their favorite games. Some of them I've never heard of, some of them I have. I never had the opportunity to sit down and collect my thoughts about them. I would love to put it as a video out there for you guys to also experience with me. Hopefully, this also encourages you guys to try out old games that's on your backlog as well. Maybe clean out the Steam libraries. I have to. Thank you guys so much for watching my first ever backlog video. Please leave a like, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what other games I should play again. And thank you guys so much for watching. I don't really have a schedule for these videos. I'm hoping for maybe a video a month, depending on how fast I can get this one out. But we'll see. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all have a great night.